Hey everybody, this video is on superpulsing lasers and or pulsing lasers. I'm going to focus a little bit more on superpulsing lasers, and I kind of had to make this own video in and of itself independently instead of talking about this in other videos because there's so much confusion. I mean, just huge amounts of confusion. And from the companies that are trying to market these devices, there's a few different companies that are superpulsing function. And so I'm gonna make this very simple. The way that these companies get away with charging what they're charging for their superpulsing devices is that they first off use patented terms or trademark terms or systems basically that have no actual research behind it, completely unsubstantiated. They're just marketing terms for things that they put on their device, features that, again, maybe they work, maybe they don't. They're usually just completely fabricated. So that's one piece, but they get away with, they convince a lot of practitioners, a lot of them, to invest a lot of money in them by telling them that it has better penetration effect than continuous wave lasers. And so I'll clear this right up. When they talk about that, it's actually taken out of context a little bit. They don't give you a lot of background info. Say 50% better penetration. So in the court of law, that would hold up from the standpoint that yes, and let's use a little example here. Okay, if we had a superpulsing laser and we had a continuous wave laser at the same power level, okay, the superpulsing device would in the few studies that were done, there's very few, but in the few studies that were done, the superpulsing laser would maybe kind of in best case scenarios on the best case area of the body, because there's a lot more to this, but in the best area of the body under specific circumstances, maybe have up to 50% better penetration of power. Okay, but here's the big but, is that we have to really then take it a little bit further. So number one, I tell you to get the average output power from any superpulsing device. That's how you compare it to a continuous wave. Once you have that term or that specification, now you can compare it. So let's use an example here. If we have a superpulsing device that is 40 milliwatts when we get their average output power, which is usually not impressive, okay? What's 50% better penetration than a continuous wave? Okay, well, we take 50% of the 40 milliwatts, average output power. So what is that? 20 milliwatts. And now we add it to the 40 milliwatts. So 20 plus 40 equals what? 60 milliwatts. So that device, if we were to compare it to a continuous wave laser, that device performs like a 60 milliwatt continuous wave laser, even though it's a 40 milliwatt device. So pulsing 40 milliwatts, superpulsing it, might, in best circumstances, perform like a 60 milliwatt continuous wave. So now you see it's kind of a little ridiculous, because here you think on the face, oh, okay, I'll spend a lot of money here because it's 50% better penetration power than a continuous wave. So that means it's better than a 10 watt laser, it's better than this, it's better than that, but it just seems better. Yeah, of course, when you're just looking at it that way. But actually, you're realizing like, oh, in most cases for most of those models, I get an extra 10 milliwatts, I get an extra 20 milliwatts, I get an extra 30 milliwatts, I get an extra hardly anything. And now that's my total power, 60 milliwatts. That's not worth it at all. So you really have to take it a little bit further, and then you realize, you know, that it's kind of trickery that they're doing here to justify, again, exorbitant prices. And then let's back up a second. I've talked about this in other videos. It's even if we have that power-to-power continuous wave to this, about 98% of the time you'll see a continuous wave laser. It's an actual laser. And I talked about this in other videos. So it's not even still the same fair comparison, because there's a difference between shining a laser on somebody's area and treating the tissue, versus shining an LED or a superluminescent LED, SLD, on that tissue. So sure, we can compare the wavelength, That might be the same. We can look at the milliwatts. We can look at that, but then in addition, we also have to also remember. Wait a minute. It's not just superpulsing. It's also an LED device. It's not a laser. Okay. So now let's take that back to the studies. Let's take that back to the price that they're charging me. Does this make sense? Usually it doesn't add up, and it's not worth it. But if you just accept what they're saying at face value, you don't really kind of take it a little bit further. You don't know how to read the specs. Usually a fair amount of practitioners and residential users will make the mistake. And I will tell you this, that the calls that I get when practitioners or residential users are most unhappy and or looking to buy another device or return their current one or try to sell it, about 90% of the time, at least 90% of the time, it's usually in reference to an LED or an SLD device, a superpulsing device, which is not what they had thought. They thought they'd be getting all this better penetration power, and they're completely sold on the marketing, which is unfortunate. And until they try a real laser, and it's pretty impressive. So thanks for watching.